Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome to the American League Championship Series as these two teams will face off for the American League pennant and a shot at the World Series. Yes, the Seattle Mariners have made it to this point, and it's the two best teams in the American League as they'll be going up against the 1 seed Toronto Blue Jays, who finished the season 103-59, and they beat the Yankees 3-0 in the ALDS. They did not allow them to win a game. This is going to be a tough matchup for your Mariners, but you're excited for this one. Make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you're ready for baseball postseason. Alek Manoah on the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays in this one. He had 18 wins in the regular season. That was second in all the American League. He didn't do so good in his first start with a 9 ERA. Looking to do better in this one as it'll be Dylan Moore leading off for the Mariners. And he'll take an 0-1 pitch and slap it through the left side of the infield, and the Mariners get started early with a base runner. That brings up Crawford, 2-1 pitch, and Moore a threat to steal, and he does just that. Swipes second on the 2-1 count. Later in the at-bat, Crawford takes a fastball and skies it into right, and just like that, because of the stolen base, Moore is going to be able to tag and take third, and he's only 90 feet away from scoring with only 1 out. We'll take a look at the Mariners lineup in this one. It's the same lineup we saw in the ALDS minus Robinson Cano. He has been taken out. And Cesar Hernandez will get his first look of the postseason. He'll be in at DH in the 9 slot. Those averages are not correct, so don't pay too much attention to them. Ty France up next, and he's going to chop this one over to first. It's going to be an out, but it's going to do the job as Moore will score, and the Mariners are on the board first. That brings up Julio Rodriguez, who was the best hitter on the Mariners in the first series, but he strikes out. Luis Castillo will grace the mound for the Mariners. He started the first game of the ALDS. He gave up 2 earned runs in 6 innings and got the loss. So looking to bounce back here in the first game of the ALCS. It'll be Bo Bichette leading off, the silver slugging shortstop, who begins his at-bats by walking on 4 pitches. So a runner now on base for Toronto. That brings up Santiago Espinal, who will bloop this one on the right field line and fair. And the Blue Jays got a little bit going here. Runners on the corners, nobody out for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the best Blue Jay hitter all season long. He will ground into a double play, but a run will score. So we're back knotted up at 1 apiece. I'll bring up George Springer, another Gold Glove outfielder for the Blue Jays. They have a lot of hardware on this team, and he will draw a walk. Changeup doesn't get the call. That brings up Danny Jansen, who swings and misses through a fastball. So both teams score 1 in the first. We'll go bottom 2 now as Cedric Mullins will step in for the Blue Jays, and he'll get plunked. Takes it right off the cheeks as Cedric Mullins will take first base. That brings up Chapman, who's going to hit this one off the leg of Castillo, so maybe a little bit of karma there. Throw is not in time, so 2 runners on, nobody out. Castillo would be okay. And he's got to face Dalton Varsho, who pops up a fastball behind the pitcher's mound. That'll be the infield fly, so he is automatically out. The 9 hole is Whit Merrifield to round out the lineup, and he'll hit this one into right. It will be caught out there, and they will not test the arm of Teoscar Hernandez. So 2 on, 2 out for the top of the lineup. It's Bo Bichette, and he takes the full count pitch into left. Runners were going, and that's going to allow them to score. The throw is not in time, and the Blue Jays take their first lead of the ball game thanks to the RBI single from Bichette. Espinal up next will pop this one into right. It will be caught, but Toronto now has the lead. We'll go top 3. Cesar Hernandez making his first at-bat of the postseason, and he will begin with his sinker strikeouts on the pitch low. 3rd K of the day for Manoah, and we'll go back to the top of the lineup. Dylan Moore stepping into the batter's box. He gets a circle change, and he will hit this one to right field, and it will drop on the line and fair. So a blue single for Moore, his second base hit of the day. And again, it's a 2-1 count for Crawford, and Moore's going to try to swipe second again, and he is going to be in there. Great throw by Jansen, but Moore is one of the best in the league at getting that jump. So he's in the scoring position now, 2 on, 1 out, as France will pop this one up in foul territory. Crawford reached base via a walk of his own. That brings up Julio Rodriguez, who's going to slap this one to right field for a base hit. Moore is going to be waved around, and he will score an RBI single for J-Rod, the best hitter for the Mariners in the postseason. He ties it up, and then Teoscar Hernandez will swing and miss. Do a high inside fastball. We're on it up at 2 through 2.5. We'll go bottom 4 now as Dalton Varsho will lead off for the Toronto Blue Jays, and this is going to be trouble. He's going to be shopping in that left center gap. It rolls all the way to the wall, and the former Arizona Diamondback has a leadoff double. Whit Merrifield's up next, and he will hit this one into right field, and that's going to drop in front of Hernandez. So another 2 hits for the Blue Jays. Done a very good job at hitting the baseball today. And now I have runners on the corners, nobody out for the top of the lineup, and they'll say Bichette goes around. We'll take it. That's out number 1. Santiago Espinal up next. That's a beautiful slider to drive. He might have hit it far enough, though. Pollock is underneath it. They're going to tag, and Varsho is going to be safe just ahead of the throw. And the Blue Jays take another lead, 3-2. Vladdy up next, and he's going to pop this one up in shallow territory in foul ground. It's going to be caught, but the Blue Jays do regain the lead. That'll also do it for Castillo. He only goes 4 innings. Penn Murphy, the all-star reliever, will come in the 5th, looking to just keep this a 1-run deficit. It'll be George Springer who starts off. He walked back in the 1st. 3-2 pitch, and he'll draw another walk. Mariners have done a bad job at giving the Blue Jays free base runners today. And that'll bring up Danny Jansen, who takes a slider that was right over the middle. And he flies it into right. Looks like Murphy got away with that one. How about Cedric Mullins? He draws a walk, so another free base for Mullins. The 2nd walk of the inning for Murphy. And that brings up the Silver Slugger and Matt Chapman. And he drives this one to deep center field. J-Rod's at the wall and watches it fly. A 3-run shot for Matt Chapman. And that was a big blow as 3 more add on to the Blue Jays. Kind of bust this game wide open. It's now 6-2 Toronto. Chapman had 106 RBIs in the regular season, which was 5th in the American League. He gets 3 more here with 1 swing of the bat. Murphy then strikes out Varsho, but that'll actually do it for Penn. They're going to bring in another reliever, keep the arms fresh, and it'll be NC Almonte making his 3rd postseason appearance. He's tasked with getting the final out of the 5th, and he'll do just that. Chopper over to France, who steps on the bag. But now it's a 4-run game. The next inning, Almonte stays in the game as this one's chopped over to short, and Bichette will beat out the throw. An infield single, and again, the Toronto Blue Jays have a leadoff base runner. Santiago Espinal up next, hits it into left field. This one will be caught deep in the corner for the 1st out. How about Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? A high slider that probably would have been a ball, but he's actually going to rip this one and hop it off the right field wall. A double for Vladdy Jr. as they'll hold the runner at 3rd. That's the wise call, as they're still only 1 away. And it's George Springer at the dish, 0-1 pitch. He's going to drive this one into the left center gap. Pollock will get there just in time, but it will allow another runner to score, and the Blue Jays add on to their lead. It's now 7-2. Danny Jansen up next, 2-0 pitch, and he drives a fastball to right center field. This one has some carry, and it's going to go over the fence. A 3-run shot for Danny Jansen, and it is now a 9-2 lead in favor of the Blue Jays. Apologies, that was a 2-run homer, but a 7-run lead now for Toronto as they have made a statement lead here in Game 1. Mullins will then get plunked again. That's the 2nd time he's been plunked today. Obviously, he's not going to like that. Chapman up next with a 3-run homer earlier. Chops this one over the pitcher, and it'll be thrown out at first. A 7-run lead through 6. Blue Jays will then turn to Adam Simber out of the bullpen. No reason to allow Alek Manoah to just continue to throw pitches. Cesar Hernandez will start the inning by swinging at the high fastball. Caught off guard by the Submariner, and we'll go to the top of the lineup. Dylan Moore, who has both runs on the day for the Mariners, and he gets plunked. Maybe a little bit of revenge, just getting a little chippy out here at the Rogers Center. I don't think the Blue Jays took too kindly to Mullins getting plunked twice. Simber will then walk Crawford, so quickly 2 on for the clutchest hitter in baseball. But he's going to go 5-4-3, a double play around the horn. The Mariners get nothing. They'll go into the next inning with Matt Brash on the mound. He comes in the 8th, or in the 7th, excuse me, tasked with getting the final out of the inning. And it's not going to be easy as Bo Bichette will take this one down the left field line. Another double for Toronto, who've done a very good job of just hitting the baseball all over the field. Espinal next, full count pitch, and he swings wildly at a slider well outside the zone. So Brash does get the job done after all. Anthony Bass will then come in relief for Toronto, making his 2nd postseason appearance. Went 2/3 in his first. His first batter is Julio Rodriguez, who will chop this one over to first. Nice glove over there by Vladdy Jr. He'll step on the bag for out number 1. Teoscar Hernandez, he apparently can't check his swing. I thought he did, but they're going to say he went around. So quick 2 down now for Kolten Wong, who turns on a fastball and lifts it to right, but it quickly loses steam. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for Bass. The next inning, Castillo will come in with 1 out and a runner on. He's got a full count pitch on Jansen, who looks at a pitch right down the middle. Not sure why he didn't swing. So now 2 down, and Cedric Mullins will finally get a chance to swing the bat. He'll single up the middle. They're going to wave the runner home, and Vladdy Jr. is going to be gunned at the plate. Nice throw by J-Rod. A little bit of defense on display there, but we're going to go into the ninth still down by 7, as Zach Papa will make his first postseason appearance. You can see the regular season numbers there. His first batter is A.J. Pollock, and he will single up the middle. Nice try by Espinal at second. But the Mariners, excuse me, will get a base runner here. Raleigh up next. He'll swing and miss on the low sinker. Quiet in Game 1 of the ALCS after a very solid ALDS against Cleveland. Cesar Hernandez then grounds it up the middle, but it'll be knocked down by Pop, who throws him over at first. So down to the final outs, and it's the top of the lineup, Dylan Moore. 2 for 3 on the day, gets a fastball, fouls it off, but it's going to allow Springer to get underneath it. And the Blue Jays will take Game 1 of the ALCS by a final score of a 9-2. The offense was on display early. They were one of the best hitting teams in baseball. They were actually the best batting average team in the American League in the regular season, and they showed just why here. A thrashing of the Mariners in Game 1 at the Rogers Center. But this is a position we've been in before. We've lost Game 1 in the ALDS, and we went back to win the next 3. Obviously a different opponent in Toronto, but this isn't the end of the world. Obviously the loss by 7 is not a good sign, but at the end of the day, you lose by 7, you lose by 1. It's still a 1-0 deficit, so shake it off. You come back in Game 2. On the other side of things, in the NLCS, they've started, and the Dodgers win Game 1 10-9 in 11 innings. They got a walk-off there in LA. And then in Game 2, they lose, but it was also in extra innings. The Padres went 8-5, or 6-5, excuse me. So they've played 2 games, and they've played a total of 24 innings. So explosive fireworks out there in LA in the NLCS, but it's time for Game 2 of the ALCS. Kirby versus Gossman, but no time to harp on losses. We're back here in Game 2 of the ALCS. The next day as the Mariners meet the Blue Jays once more, trying to shake off that 7-run loss in the first matchup. You don't want to go down 2-0, and it's a packed house here at the Rogers Center cheering on their Toronto Blue Jays, who are going to send the righty Kevin Gossman up on the mound for his second appearance in the postseason. His first one was a no decision that turned into a win against New York, who when he gave up 2 earned runs in 6 1/3 innings, and they'll be led off by Dylan Moore once more, hitting .211 in the postseason, and he's going to lift a splitter into left center, where it will be tracked down and caught by Cedric Mullins. And we'll take a look at the Mariners lineup today. Just a slight difference. No Kolten Wong at second base. Cesar Hernandez will be filling that spot. Cano is back in the lineup. Wong suffered a knee injury in pregame batting practice, so he will miss this one and potentially could miss another. So I'll have to get more on that in a little bit. That brings up J.P. Crawford up next. He's going to perfectly time a splitter out to deep right center, and it clears the wall. J.P. Crawford wastes no time getting the Mariners on the board in this one. A perfect meatball right down the middle. And the shortstop for Seattle takes advantage, launches it .385 to right center. And the Mariners jump out to a 1-0 lead. Ty France up next, 0-2 pitch to him. He pops up a fastball into shallow right field, where Espinal will glove it. Julio Rodriguez hitting .350 now in the postseason. Hits this one over to short, and Bichette's not going to be able to field it. Don't think he would have got him anyway. It's going to be a base hit. But Rodriguez with the speeds on first, and that brings up Hernandez, who swings through the fastball. But Seattle does get one. George Kirby's on the mound for the Mariners, making his second postseason appearance. His first one was a no-decision win in Game 3 against the Cleveland Guardians. He didn't get the win, but the Mariners did. Bo Bichette leading off again for Toronto. He's going to hit this one up the middle. Crawford gloves it and will get the tough play at first. Bichette thrown out by about half a step, and we'll take a look at this Toronto Blue Jays lineup. The same one you just saw. They've been firing on all cylinders, hitting .345 in the postseason. They were the best hitting team in the American League during the regular season, and it has carried over into October. Santiago Espinal up next, 2-0 fastball. Hit into right field where Teoscar Hernandez, the former Toronto Blue Jay, will make the play. Vladdy Jr. now first pitch swinging. He ropes this one also into right. This time Teoscar is not going to be able to get to that one. And it's a 2-out single for the Toronto first baseman. George Springer up next. He's going to hit this one into right center, and that's going to get down in the gap. And that's a little bit of a 2-out rally here for Toronto. Now have runners on the corners for Danny Jansen. Had the big homer in the first game, and this one he rips over to Cesar. A nice glove, and they get nothing. We'll go bottom 3 now. Whit Merrifield, the 9-hole DH, steps into the batter's box, and he's going to take the first pitch he sees in the shallow right field, where Hernandez will glove that one. Back to the top of the lineup, Bo Bichette gets a hanging curveball, and he's going to make Kirby pay. Launches it into the right center gap up against the 357 sign, and that's going to be a 1-out double for the Toronto Silver Slugger. Santiago Espinal up next, full count pitch, and he apparently went around. Slider down, gets him, a second out of the inning. And that brings up Vladdy Jr., who's going to hit a fastball through the right side of the infield. They're going to wave Bichette. Hernandez play at the plate, throw is high, and the run scores. That's the first RBI in the postseason for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and he ties it up at 1 apiece. Next batter, George Springer, chopper over to Moore at third base. He gloves it, and that'll end the third. But we're all knotted up at 1 apiece. How about top 5? Cesar Hernandez stepping in for Seattle, 1 for 5 so far in this series. He gets a fastball down the middle and hits this one to center, but it dies out quickly into the glove of Mullins. Robinson Cano up next, still looking for his first postseason hit. He'll get his first postseason base as he draws a walk. That brings up Dylan Moore up next, slider right over the middle. He loves these pitches, but again gets underneath it. Mariners have had a couple of chances at some solid hits, but they can't stop getting underneath the baseball. Crawford up next. He's going to chop this one up the middle. That's not underneath it. That's going to be a single into center. And now 2 on, 2 outs for Ty France, the clutchest hitter in baseball. Draws a walk. So how about this? Bases loaded, 2 outs for our best all-around hitter is Julio Rodriguez, who's already 2 for 2 in the ballgame. First pitch to J-Rod. It's a nice slider to hit, but he ropes it right over to third, and that'll end the inning. A big miss. Kevin Gausman knows that he fist pumps, and we're still tied at 1. We'll go bottom 6 now. Kirby's still in the game. He gets Espinal 2 line out for the first out. Guerrero Jr. up next will do the same thing, this time to center field, where Julio will have it. Quick 2 down now for Toronto as Kirby tries to get a quality start in the books. George Springer's up next, and he's going to hit this one into right field. That'll be a single, and that'll be a base runner now for Toronto. Bring up Danny Jansen. 0-2 to him, and he lifts this one into left field for a single. So back-to-back base hits now for Toronto. The inning's not over yet, and it's Cedric Mullins now at the plate. 1-2 count to him, and he hits this one into center field, and Rodriguez isn't going to get there, and a run is going to score. I think Julio might have been able to glove that one, but instead, it's going to be a run for Toronto. They take a 2-1 lead. Matt Chapman up next. Fastball lifted into left. That will be caught, looks like, by Pollock, but Julio doesn't get the baseball, and now we're down by a run. Going into the 7th, Anthony Bass will come in relief for the Blue Jays, making his 3rd postseason appearance. He'll start off the inning against Cesar Hernandez, who's flown out twice in this ballgame. 3-2 pitch. Splitter up in the zone. He lifts it into right field. That'll go down for a base hit, and that's going to be a single to start the inning for Seattle. Sam Haggerty will then come in 2 pinch hits. Robinson Cano will be taken out of the game. We've seen this before in the ALDS, and Haggerty will draw a walk. So 2 base runners reach to start the inning for Seattle, and it's the top of the lineup. Moore looks at strike 3. I thought that one was high, and he thinks so too. He's going to argue it with the umpire, but it's not going to change the outcome. And the Blue Jays, they'll bring in Tim Meza. This is interesting because he is a lefty, and he's getting ready to go up against the lefty Crawford, but he's got to get 2 outs. First one, 0-2 pitch. He does get Crawford to swing and miss, so 2 down now. But it's Ty France coming up, the player you want at the plate in this situation. 1-2 to the first baseman. He rips it over to short, and Bichette's going to glove it and throw him out at first. Another missed opportunity there by the Mariners. We're still trailing by a 1. Penn Murphy will then come in relief. The all-star reliever has not looked good in the postseason this year, and that's not going to help. A leadoff single by Dalton Varsho into left. That brings up Whit Merrifield, who's actually going to try to bunt him over, but Murphy will get to it quickly, and they'll get the lead runner. So nothing happens there. It's now 1 away. Runner still on first. But Bo Bichette's going to single up the middle into center field, and Murphy still struggling. The runner gets all the way to third. So runners on the corner, one away, and the Mariners are going to turn to Yency Almonte, who also hasn't had the best of postseasons. He's got to get 2 down. He's got Espinal, who looks at strike 3, slider over the middle, doesn't swing at it. A gift there for Almonte. And then he's got Vladimir Guerrero up next, who laces one right at Pollock. And Almonte gets the job done. Let's go top 8 now, where Eric Swanson will come in relief. The Mariners still need to get 1 run to tie it up. Julio will lead off this half of the inning. 0-2 pitch, and he apparently gets the call. Strike 3 on the corner. That'll be the first out of the inning. Hernandez up next. He swings through a slider. A good pitch to hit, but he just is out in front of it. So a quick 2 down now by Swanson, and that'll bring up A.J. Pollock. 1-2 pitch. He is also going to be out by the strikeout. Swanson strikes out the side. Now we'll go into the bottom of the 8th, where Paul Sewall will come in relief, making his 4th appearance. He's usually a setup man, but he's just going to be tasked with keeping this a 1-run deficit. First batter, George Springer out in front of the slider. Nice pitch by Sewald. Danny Jansen up next. 1 for 3 in this one. He had the big homer in game 1, and he lifts a fastball into right, where Teoscar is going to have that one for the second out. Cedric Mullins now at the plate. 2 for 3 day by him, and he hits a nice one out to left, but Pollock is going to get there. And we're going to go into the 9th down by 1, but we got to go up against Jordan Romano, who led all of baseball in saves this year with 56. And he got another one in the ALDS, so it's not going to be easy. He'll be also going up against the 7, 8, 9 hitters, the bottom of the order, but they will all be lefties. Cal Raleigh will begin. 0 for 3 on the day. Full count pitch, and he swings through a fastball. Romano threw him 9 straight fastballs on that at-bat, and Cal Raleigh couldn't put it in play. Cesar Hernandez up next. This one will be up the middle. Bichette gives it a dive, but there will be no play. And now the tying run is on first base. And it'll be the 9-hitter, Sam Haggerty. Full count pitch. Perfectly hits a slider, but right over to the second baseman to turn 2 and end the ball game. And the Blue Jays win game 2 by a final score of 2-1. They take both at home before the series shifts to Seattle for 3. But the Mariners are now in a little bit of a hole. I think that last at-bat was just the perfect summary of how this one went. The Mariners got some hits. They got some base runners, but they wasted way too many good looks at the plate. There were a lot of pitches that were hittable that were either popped up or ripped right at somebody. And that was on full display there to end the game. The Blue Jays win. 2 runs on 10 hits for them. We had 1 on 8. Gossman gets the win thanks to his 6 strong innings of work. He also gets player of the game. And we have to go back home in a 2-0 hole. Coltawan will also miss game 3 with some knee inflammation, so that's not going to help. Over in the NLCS, the Padres win the first one in San Diego 4-0 after a grand slam by Ha-Seong Kim in the second. They lead the series 2-1 out there in the western side of things. And we're about to head out west for games 3 and games 4, which will be both coming to you guys next episode. It's okay. You got to win the home games, though, so we're not completely out of it yet. But if we drop one of these next 3, we're in some deep trouble. Hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.